Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Melissa. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. So I know you went and created a journal online at MyPlate. So how do you feel like that went to kind of track things?
I thought it was great. I was not aware of the food tracker, the super tracker app until recently, and then I kept track of my meals for a week, and it was really interesting to see how much certain food groups I was eating and where I was lacking and where I was doing okay. So it was really easy to use. And
Awesome. Yeah, okay. So you can use that anytime, and then you can kind of translate that to even introducing other people to it, friends and family, stuff like that. So it really does all the math and the calculating for you, which is a great thing.
that was really nice.
But after reviewing your medical history, and you don't have any medical concerns, which is great, that affect your oral cavity or anything. So we're going to review your MyPlate journal and just kind of discuss where you feel like after looking at yours, where you feel like you're lacking in
Okay.
anything in your diet that you feel like you're kind of missing out on from reviewing yours. Um, so here was kind of that chart that explains any of the statuses that you felt like you fell under.
Right. And I kind of felt like I was not doing very well in the vegetable category. Most days I was significantly under where I should have been with like the dark green vegetables, any kinds of like fruits and things like that. So it was good to see that the areas that I was not up to par on.
Okay. So what do you feel like after reviewing it? What ideas did you have to add to your diet to kind of
Well,
maybe supplement that?
sure, definitely. I need to, I think I'm going to try to eat more spinach and more green leafy vegetables, whether I do that with like juicing or just try to make sure I'm stocking that stuff in my fridge or bringing it for lunch at school instead of eating out or whatever. And then I also felt like I wasn't really getting enough dairy.
Okay.
So, and I'm lactose intolerant, so that makes it tough. And I am okay with eating cheese, so I've been doing that. But after again looking at my food journal, I can see that I'm deficient in calcium or in
Okay.
dairy products.
Okay. Awesome. So this is why we did this. Um, so I'm going to talk a little bit about your oral hygiene and instructions, and then we're going to kind of pair it with the nutritional part of it.
Okay, great.
So I believe your caries risk is moderate to high, and there's several reasons why. So one, you just recently had a filling. So if you've had a filling within the last 3 years, then that's something that we want to take into consideration. And then you told me that you have about 2 cans of pop a day,
Yeah.
between
I
two to
do.
three, kind of, and then you kind of like your peanut M&M every once in a while as
I
like
do.
a little treat.
I do.
So basically, what we want to take into consideration is how a cavity gets formed. So there's kind of four things that come into play with that. It's going to be bacteria, which we all have that in our mouth. It's going to be a highly cariogenic diet, so things like the pop and really direct sugar, and then we're going to talk a little bit about hidden sugars that are in things. Fermentable carbohydrates, which the carbohydrates just kind of break down into sugars.
Okay.
And then anything that really sticks to the teeth, so like crackers and kind of sticky pot or sticky candy, things like that. And then salivary flow, which is not a consideration for you because you have proper salivary flow. And then obviously just a susceptible tooth. So do you have any questions on that process at
I
all?
don't think so.
Pretty
No,
straightforward.
yeah.
Okay, and then since you told me you have the 2 cans of pop a day, and I know you said you really like your coffee black, you occasionally put the soy milk in it, and then you had told me before when you were in about 6 months ago that you really like to have lemon in your water. So water's great, but the lemon kind of creates that acidic environment in your mouth and lowers your pH. So we talked a little bit about that last time, and we'll touch on it again. And then the peanut M&Ms would be something else to consider. So, and then how do you feel about like your frequency of snacking?
Um, I guess I don't do it a ton, but maybe more so on the weekends, but not too often.
Okay, so you kind of stick to your 3 meals a day during the week, but maybe on the weekends you kind of sneak in a snack or two.
Right.
Okay. And we're just going to kind of talk about things that can kind of add minerals back into your teeth and your enamel, because once you kind of lose the enamel, you can never get it back, but you can kind of help just remineralize and strengthen what you do have. So what do you feel like is more important in someone's diet? Do you feel like it's like the frequency of how often they snack, or how much of it they have when they're snacking?
I think you're probably both.
Yeah. So really it's more the frequency. So that's what you want to take into consideration. So I'm going to show you this little graph, and it's kind of fun to look at, and a little bit of an eye-opening thing. So like during the week when you stick to your regular meals, once you eat, the pH in your mouth goes down. So what that means is it becomes more acidic, and then you're able to kind of neutralize it in between those meal times, which is great for your mouth. You really want a really level pH, not it to be, you don't want it to be really acidic. So if you had a frequency in snacking throughout the day, your mouth isn't really able to neutralize that and kind of bounce back.
Sure, I see.
So there's kind of some tricks in between snacking. So to counteract that, you can either rinse your mouth with water. Very simple. So if you were to snack during the day and during the week and you were at work or something, you could just simply rinse your mouth with water. If you like to chew sugarless gum, that's perfect. And look on the package and make sure it has xylitol in it, because then that's going to help neutralize your pH. And really all you have to chew it is for, like, I tell people 3 to 5 minutes, and then you can spit it out and go back to work. And then when you were last in for your cleaning 6 months ago, we had kind of talked about your frequency of sipping on the water with the lemon in it. And we just kind of discussed that the lemon is really highly acidic, so it's I just noticed a little bit of erosion. So what that means is it's just breaking down that enamel. So, but I know you said that you've really cut that back, and you can tell on your journal too. So that's great. And then overall, your diet has a direct relationship with your mouth. So you're not a big snacker, which is great, which means your pH is going to kind of stay at that neutral. But when you do have snacks, or you do like the pop and the M&Ms, you're going to want to do those things. So you're going to want to rinse your mouth out with water, chew the gum with the xylitol. And then at daily home care, make sure that you're checking that your toothpaste has fluoride in it. And that if you use a mouth rinse, that it has fluoride in it too, because then that's going to help to remineralize. And then I had your perio class as a 1. So I'm going to just explain a little bit about what the periodontal disease process is and what that means for you. Up here. So it really is a process of like where the bone is as far as in regards to supporting the tooth. So I took your probe depths. You were between 1 and 3, which is great. So your gums are really healthy. They're pink. They're tight to the tooth. You really didn't, this is the probe that I used to make those measurements. You really didn't have any bleeding. There's no signs of inflammation. So that's really great. So you want to stay in that. I know you said you like to floss, so that's fantastic, because that's going to really maintain your oral health too, in addition to what we talked about with the diet. So you just don't want it to get your probe depths to go any deeper, because what that can mean is that your bone is being destroyed from the bacteria, and then your gums follow. So really maintaining what you're doing right now is great. Looking at your diet the way we are right now, you can make those little adjustments. And then, do you have any questions on the periodontal portion of it?
I really don't.
Okay. So I looked a little bit more at the nutrition part. So talking about some of the key minerals, and you spoke about this too. So you noticed it yourself that the calcium portion of it is really big. It's going to help promote bone and enamel strength. And then if you have vitamin D too, it's going to help absorb the calcium. And then we already talked about the fluoride to help remineralize. So the at-home care, and then we can do those fluoride treatments in the office. You can do those with me. And then some foods that are great to help self-cleanse. So it's going to be all the vegetables that you already talked about. So it's going to be the carrots, apples, celery, broccoli, those things that are a little bit more crunchy and they're going to help kind of self-cleanse the teeth.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me about kind of what we talked about?
I don't think so. I think the challenge will be actually incorporating it.
Okay. And then maybe your challenge might be getting the calcium too.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably add, I don't know, maybe you can add a supplement if you feel like you don't get enough with just eating the cheese and
that may be the best approach for me too.
yeah. And then so after looking this all over, what other than adding the calcium, are there any other goals that you want to kind of strive for?
I would like to, like I said, just increase my calcium and then also the vegetables.
Great. Yep, that's awesome. So I'll see you again in 6 months for your next recall visit. And then if you have any questions on any of the diet questions, just give the office a call.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Shani.
Yeah.